What's going on, guys? My name is Rumble Skrash, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a very controversial matter, which is the matter of the defense teams and in consequence bait teams. A lot of people have been asking me to do a video about this in the comment section, so I thought it was a pretty interesting subject, but one thing I want to mention is that a lot of people think that it's not a good idea to put videos on YouTube about defense teams or things like this, because then, I don't know, maybe you will break the meta. But the thing is, like, if this video is gonna be about explaining how to plan a good defense team. It's not gonna be about me showing a lot of defense teams, because a lot of defense teams are actually just the attacking teams that people put on the defense. I will talk about that. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if someone has put bait units to bait you into attacking the slasher team. If you look it properly, you will see that it's the slasher team. So the only thing you have to do in order to avoid that is actually just before clicking the attack button, just look at the units carefully a little bit, just for some seconds, and then you will see it's the slasher team or the in team or whatever. So without further ado, let's start with this video. First of all, I want to say, and I want to stress out how important defensive wins are, because how the way that PvP works, it's for every 10 defenses, it depends on the ranking, but around 10 defensive wins, it's the same amount of points that if you had spent a gem and had won all 3 matches. So apart from being a way of getting and maintaining a certain rank without having to spend that many gems, it's actually a way of guaranteeing your points, because spending a gem you can always lose, and then you will not get as many points as with just 10 defense. So one other thing, defensive wins are tricky, and you get more defensive wins the more you appear in the screens of other people, and you appear in the screens of other people if you are higher than them. So what that means is, actually, if you are in the top rankings, a lot more people are going to be attacking you than if you are very, very low rank. So if you're low rank and you're not getting any defense, don't worry. It may not be because your defense team is not good. It's just that people are not seeing your defense team, and then nobody is attacking you. So let's start with this video. So first of all, I want to say, as defense teamers are so important, you want to get defensive wins, and there's 2 ways of doing that. There's the way of actually winning the match, so actually your defense team kills the attacking team, or so defeats the attacking team, or the other option, which is that you time them out. So there's 2 different, very, very different approaches, and there's a lot of defense teams built around timing the enemy attacking team out. So I think it's an interesting idea, but with the current meta, that there's a lot of speed, a lot of attack, a lot of damage very, very early in the game, probably none of these teams will actually time the slasher team up or anything, because they have no damage. And if you let the slasher team charge the specials again, they eventually they will kill you. So but I'm not sure, it may be working out. These teams are based always in a lot of HP and a lot of defense, so units like Rayleigh, Shanks Crew maybe, or Frankie, or I don't know, Nekomamushi at the start, some defense. So it's just a lot of units, and then bullets or things like this, because there's one buff which helps you in timing the enemy team up, which is the provoke buff, which is what bullet gives. So the provoke buffs makes all the enemy units attack, for example, bullet. And the thing is, normally how PvP works is that normally 2 units are attacking at the same time, but if 2 units were to attack at the same time, but the 2 have to go up against the same enemy, because bullet is forcing them to, then only one of them will attack, and then the other one will be waiting, and then the second one will attack. So with a provoke back, you're actually slowing down the match. So that's a thing that you could use for slowing the match and not having to tank that much damage. So but once I have mentioned that, I want to talk in this video mainly about the second option of defensive win, which is that actually your team beats the attacking team, and that a lot of people are putting, for example, their main attacking team into the defensive team. So for example, if I'm using a lot this slasher team, then I copy and paste this team into the defense team. And I don't think that's a really good idea, because a lot of people actually know this team. So not a lot of people are gonna be attacking your team because they know how powerful it is. And the other thing is, if you put a PvP Whitebeard in the bench, then the people that maybe would attack the slasher team, they are of course not attacking you, because on top of the slasher team you have a PvP Whitebeard. So it depends on the rankings. If you are very top rank, then maybe putting the slasher team is not such a bad idea, because even if only 1 every 10 person that sees your team attacks you, as you are one of the top rankings and everybody's seeing your team, you will get a lot of defensive teams anyway. But if you are in an average ranking, like, I don't know, top 1000, top 2000, something like this, I do not really recommend putting the most powerful teams in the defense team, because nobody's attacking you. So you want to put weaker teams, but that they have a chance of winning. So before I talk about that, I want to talk about if you really want to put your favorite team, like, or the team that you think is the strongest in the defense team, like for example the slasher team, then you have two options. You can try to bait people into attacking you. So for example, with units like this cost 1 units, that they will probably die very early, and then your units will come in from the bench. So for example, I have this Brook and this Sturzen. So the thing is, the first when a unit dies, for example, if Sturzen dies, the first unit on the bench will replace it. So that's the thing to keep in mind. If you put it like this, then PP Whitebeard will come in instead of Odin. So you want the first units on the bench are the first ones to come into the match. And another important thing is that they will replace the spot of the unit that has died. So you want to plan your bait units in a spot where, if you want to protect Odin is not in a dangerous place. Because I actually want to mention that in an attacking team, the units that are receiving the most damage are actually this spot. In an attacking team, it's the spot that the unit is on the front, so it's the spot that's taking the most hits, and then these two spots are the ones that are taking the second biggest amount of hits, and then the safest spots in an attacking team is like this. But in a defense team it changes. So in a defense team it's in order. The spots that are taking the most hits are the first 3 slots, and these 2 units are very much protected. So you want to keep that in mind. If I were planning this team in a defense team, maybe, as I want the units with more defense on the front, I would plan it like this probably. So you have to keep that in mind. The order of the units matters depending on if you are using a slasher, an attacking team or a defense team. But that's it. And one last thing I want to mention is that actually when your team appears in the screen of the opponent, they will see actually a big spread of the artwork of the first unit. So if you put it like this, they will see Brook, and it will not be as obvious that your team is a slasher team, but I mean, it's fairly obvious that this is a slasher team. So at the end of the day, I do not really recommend using these kind of meta teams in a defense, because a lot of people are going to recognize it and they are just not going to attack you, so you will not get many defenses. But if you really want to do that, then putting some bait units or peaks. A lot of people are using peaks. I think peaks are actually really obvious. Like if you put a peak, it's like, oh, he's baiting me. Like maybe these other units are like, oh, they are more obscure units. I don't know, but that's my point of view. These units also have a little bit more of HP, so, but well. But now let's talk about what I think is the best way of actually planning defensive teams. So I think you don't have to plan a defense team thinking about like, oh, I am going to beat every team that attacks me. You have to think about what teams are people using the most as an attacking team. You just have to guess that, but I guess that most of the people are using the slasher team as an attack or an in team. So if you plan counters to those specific teams in the defense, then maybe, yes, any other team that's attacking you will beat you. But the slasher teams, some of them will be losing, so you will get defensive wins. So I think that's the right approach when planning a defense team, targeting specific teams, not trying to build a absolutely meta team that will beat any team that attacks it. It's just like more obscure teams that are planned for and focused for a specific team or two teams, and that you know that these teams are being used as an attack. So I think that's the right approach. So for example, it's very recommendable to take a look at some of the units that you have here, because what people call the bait units. So the thing is, like, there's these Fortnite units like at the end. For example, I am searching with only the units that have PvP abilities. So apart from the legends and everything, well, yeah, there's rare recruits and stuff, and some of them are good, not a lot of them. But there's these Fortnite units that are free to play, and some of these units are really interesting. Like for example, this Dogstorm, I haven't him leveled up, but he gives HP to Cerebral, and he's Slasher, and his specialist has a very low cooldown, giving defense down level 4. Another unit that I think is really good is this, for example, this Rebecca. I have her somewhat leveled up, HP to Slasher and Striker. So if you put her at the beginning, not only she's giving the bait, but she's also giving you something. She's making something for the team. She's giving HP up and stuff like this. So I think there's a lot of these units. I will not go along and explain all of them. That's another unit that I think is very good, just a flat out rainbow HP above, and then the special, yes, just something. So and these units do not cost that much to invest in, so you can just, I recommend that you scroll and take a look at the abilities of some of these units, because some of them are very interesting and people do not know them, and I think it's very important that you know some units that are good and are able to put it and use them, so that the people that are attacking you do not really know what this unit do, and then they're thinking, oh, this is bait, but actually it is, but they are useful, so they might get into some surprise. So for example, there's rare recruit, speed to strikers, and an absolutely broken, I think, special, like defense down for 24 seconds, and it at max defense down level 11 for 24 seconds. Keep in mind that when a unit dies, the debuff stays in, so if you manage him, for example, he has a low cooldown, if you manage that he actually gets his special off, then this defense down level 11 will stay for after he has died, because he will probably be dying early. So that's something that you want to consider, and I recommend scrolling and looking at these units and see what they do, because there's a lot of different options, and if you're building a specific team, probably some of these units will actually help you, and they only cost 20, so the same as a PvP limited rare recruit. So maybe instead of putting an Otama that everyone knows, you put one of these units, give them some scrolls, and you're good to go. So um, I'm using this team as a defense. Here it's kind of a rainbow team, camouflage with two weird units. One of them is Dizzy Bankov, which I really like him. He gives defense of level 3 and HP, a lot of HP up to himself, and then the special gives attack down, and I really like this unit. And then I'm using this guy, which is giving me speed at the very start, and I want him actually just to so that he charges his special and then he dies before activating it, so Odin comes in max. So that's the main idea of this team. Maybe people are seeing it and think like, oh, this is the rainbow team, I'm not attacking it, but it might work. So once the block C starts, I will be showing you guys some matches with this defense team. I will be adding it right after this clip. But the thing I wanted to mention is that, for example, this defense team that I have shown you beats this. It's planned to beat the slasher team, and beats the slasher team like probably 3 out of 5 times. So it's not a guaranteed win, but it's a very interesting team because when you're setting up a defense team, you don't actually want to get the 100% guaranteed win rate, but you actually just want people to attack you. So actually, it's a good idea to put up less strong, so a weaker team in a defense team, but exchanging that with making your team look more accessible, so that if a lot of people are attacking you, you don't care if it has a 60% win rate instead of a 100% win rate. You will get the defensive wins anyway, so, and maybe a lot more. So I think it's a good thing to do some teams like appear and actually be a little bit weaker, but it all depends on the ranking. If you are in the top ranking, maybe it's okay to put like the slasher team, because as I said before, even if just one people every 10 are attacking you, the number of people that are seeing your team is so high that that you actually, it doesn't really matter that you have the strongest team. And one last thing that I wanted to mention before you see the clips of the matches with the defense team is that, for example, if you're using a slasher team as a defense, there's a lot of people that say, oh, I'm gonna use a very strong team, and people are gonna recognize it's a strong team, but I'm only gonna use 4 units, so I'm gonna bait people with that. I'm only gonna use 4 legends, and these kind of teams are very tricky. They have to be really consistent, and they have to be planned very well. I do not think a 4-man slasher team really does much. I think if you were doing a 4-man slasher team, it would be with these 4 units. Like, you have a lot of speed, you have a lot of special CT up, you have HP up, you have some defense, not a lot, and you have a consistent amount of damage. But I do not think a 4-man team actually can hold up against other slasher teams or other attacking teams, even the in team, because if the in team is attacking you, I mean, because if you have less units, they are attacking more. So normally how the slasher team beats the in team is it's by actually just spamming a lot of specials, being very speedy, and actually just defeating the enemy team. But if you only have 4 units, maybe the in team will get their specials off, they will get a lot of defense, they will tank your specials, they will basically survive, and then they will kill you because they have a lot of damage, but not that early into the match. So I think to set up a good four-man defense team, it has to be something about the rainbow team, I think. But that's my opinion. So I think something along the lines of Rayleigh, Shanks Crew, Roger, and I don't know, maybe Odin. But I do not really like four-man teams because they do nothing good. So what I mean by that is, like, if you plan a team, a strong team against only one particular team, that looks weird. A lot of people that are using this particular team will be baited into attacking because they will have absolutely no idea what your team is about, and only when they lose they will realize it was a counter to their team, or maybe they will win but it will be very close. But the thing is, if you're putting a very strong team, yes, nobody's gonna be attacking you if it's a very popular team, but the people that are attacking you are gonna be losing. But the thing is, if you put a very strong team with only 4 units, the people that know your team are not gonna be attacking you, and the people that do not know your team, they're gonna be beating you. I don't know if you get what I mean. So the thing is, it's doing none of the two things. So even if people see, oh, it's a slasher team, I'm gonna be attacking it, probably they will beat you because you only have 4 units. And if they are just like, oh, I don't care, I will go with a slasher counter, for example, they will beat you. Or, like, there's a lot of options. I think with a 4-man team it's really really tricky, and you have to actually use a lot of bait. So maybe if you're using a 4-man team, I would actually use some of these Fortnite units that I mentioned, like a 4-man team with that Inu Arashi that I showed. It's actually good because the defense down of Inu stays when he dies, and he will die very early. So maybe that's a thing that you want to do. Some defense down level 4 is not bad for 20 seconds. Maybe some HP up with Rebecca, like using these kind of units. And maybe as currently today, the the meta is actually about a lot of units with a lot of damage and a lot of speed. You want to put these units first, and then your 4 important units on the bench, maybe, so that they are actually surviving a little bit more and maybe doing something. I do not really recommend using 4-man teams, but it might be a good way to go. Maybe a 4-man team and 1 PP limited recruit, that would be a good option. Like not 5 legends, but just 4 legends and 1 PP limited recruit, and that's it. So I think that's the right approach. But I will leave you guys now with the rest of the video. So with the clips of my defense team, for example, beating or trying to beat the slashers. It might be losing a lot of times, but it's just about getting some higher than 50%, I would say, win rate, and you will be seeing. Alright, so finally Block C has started, and we can finally test the defense team that I was talking about. Our defense team is this team, and I'm gonna be trying it as an attack team. So I want to remind you guys that this is not 100% win rate. I'm gonna be doing 3 matches. Possibly I will be losing some of them, but it's just to show you guys the idea behind this defense team. And what I mean, I don't care right now about the points. It's just about going up against the slashers. And the thing is, I'm gonna be going up against any slasher team that I find, because it's more representative of the slasher teams that people have. So it's not about beating the slashers, it's about beating the slashers that people have. So if I go up against any slasher team that someone has considered good enough to put in the defense, I'm guessing that they consider it good enough to go for the attack. So I'm gonna be attacking them, and we're gonna be seeing how it goes. I think this in particular is pretty max. Yeah, I mean, it's we will be seeing how are the specials when they activate. But as you can see, the idea of this team is that Senior Ping takes a lot of damage. One important thing to mention is that my senior ping is not even limit broken. I mean, not fully limit broken and not rainbow. And then he has very few stats, which is actually a good thing because it's a way of guaranteeing that he will die before activating his special, because I don't want him to activate the special. I want him to die, and then Odin comes in with max special. That's the main idea. And apart from that, a lot of the times Roger is kind of squishy, and then if he dies before activating the special, then we have a PP Whitebeard coming in with max special too, which is actually very, very good for us. And if he activates the special, Roger's special is really good, so it's a win-win situation. The only problem that you may encounter is that if at the same time as Roger, a second unit dies that didn't have the special max, and then PP Whitebeard replaces that unit. So as you can see, Senior Ping died, we have an Odin fully maxed, and now if Roger gets to activate, it's gonna be good. If he dies, then PP Whitebeard will come in max, and that's the case. As I was saying, now we get the Odin special. They have just level 5 defense. We get a lot of damage. Kizaru's dead, and right now when PP Whitebeard activates, probably it's gonna be GG, but we're gonna be seeing. So basically, the other unit, Shanks Crew and Rayleigh, are just there so that we can tank all their specials. And right now it's just like GG. There's only 2 units. They don't even have max special, and we have even the special of Rayleigh and Ivankov, which is doing something, but we don't even need it because we get the win. So as you can see, and this was working pretty well. It's true that a lot of people are using PvP Whitebeard in the bench. This particular team was using a different free-to-play unit, but I mean, the way that this match went, it wouldn't have mattered if it had been PvP Whitebeard, because when Zoro came in, he just didn't have the special ready, and then the special of PvP Whitebeard killed him. So PP Whitebeard in the enemy team wouldn't have had any time to activate either the special. So that would have been that. I think that shows the same way that if a PP Whitebeard would have been there. So we got the first win. As I said, I want to remind you, it's not 100% win. It's just because in a defense team, I would think this team, as I said before, it's like a 70% win rate, and that's very good. So for example, right now you saw that I was in the in a rank like almost 4,000 rank, and I got a couple of defenses today. So it's just like, even in these high ranks, I mean, and it's always been it's only been a few hours since the day started, by the way. So it's just to show you guys that even with a really, really high rank, you can get some defenses sometimes, not every day, but just a couple or two in top 5,000, something like this. It can be achievable. It depends on the day, obviously. We're gonna be going up against this slasher if it's maxed. Again, it's not representing an attacking team that has a PP Whitebeard in there, but it's not about beating all the slasher team with a PP Whitebeard. So it's just beating the slasher teams that we can find, and if we can beat the main 5 team of the slasher team, maybe if a PP Whitebeard was there, we would struggle, but in most of the cases, if we can beat the main 5 slasher teams, we would get the win. It would be 1 every 10 maybe, that if we kill the 5 main team and then PP Whitebeard comes in and with only 1 special he kills us. So I mean, if I can find a PP Whitebeard, I will go up against them in the 3rd match. So we have the special of Ivankov giving some attack down. It's good because we gave attack down to 2 units that give multiplier damage, so that's quite relevant. Not really. The main idea was to give attack down to Odin, but we didn't manage to do that. As you can see, Senior Ping is almost dead. Well, he's dead now. And then we have an Odin coming in fully maxed. Well, almost fully maxed. And maybe our Roger will activate now. which we are good with both scenarios anyway. So if he activates, it's good. If he doesn't, then he will die. Yes, he activates, which is good, giving a lot of attack down, defense down, and speed down. So now we will be tanking the special of Odin better. Probably he will die though, Roger. And then we have a special of PP Whitebeard. Let's see, Roger didn't die because the Flamingo didn't have that much HP up, attack up, but now he will die because of Odin. And now we have a PP Whitebeard, probably. Yes, he will not be max, but we have the special of Odin right now. That's quite scary, as you can see, because we lost Shank's crew. This is we killed Kizaru, and then I mean it could go either way. We could win or we could lose, but I think with this special we get a lot of defense, which will stay even if Rayleigh dies, so that's very good. And we have I think we win this match, but as you can see, sometimes it can be really close, because right now the important thing is the PP Whitebeard, and we have 2 units and 2 units, which is actually good. And then I don't think the Flamingo is gonna be getting to activate. Roger is dead, and now it's 2 units against 1, so I think we will be getting to kill him, and now PP Whitebeard was activating. So that was a much closer match. So as you can see, in a match like this, for example, if PP Whitebeard had been there, we would have lost probably. So it's just so that you can see that sometimes if someone is attacking you with absolutely the most broken and good team that they have, so probably someone would have using this team with PP Whitebeard on the bench, they would have killed us. So it's just like the first match probably it wouldn't have mattered, the second match it would have mattered, probably we would have lost. And let's see if we can find a team actually with PP Whitebeard, and let's see how we do, because it's RNG at the end of the day. If we manage that that both our specials of Odin and PP Whitebeard activate, and they target all the enemy team, then we are quite okay. The only problem that you can find is some RNG problems with the targeting of specials. So if, for example, Odin only targets 1 unit, because it has happened to me and it's really annoying. Okay, we found a slasher team with PP Whitebeard on it, so we're gonna be attacking it. Let's see. So it's gonna be good, because if we lose this match, it's gonna be 2 out of 3. So I think it represents well the percent win rate that I have been experiencing these last weeks. I've been testing this team a lot, and have done like 25 more matches, and it gets in average a result like that, like maybe 1 every 3 or even 1 every 4 I lose. But it depends, obviously, it's RNG at the end of the day. But I have been experiencing that I haven't done any championship with this team, but by the amount of defensive wins in low rankings that I have gotten, I assume it's gonna be quite good in championship, because in championship a lot of people are gemming and playing PvP. So Senior Pink died very early, which that might be a problem, because now our Odin might come in not max and attack before activating the special, but I don't see him in the queue of attack, so that's good. Okay, he's there and he will activate the special. So we get some defense from Shank's crew, which is actually quite good. We get some fixed damage, and now it's the question: if Roger dies, we get PP Whitebeard. If he doesn't, okay, 3 units died at the same time, and it's a shame that Shank's crew died at the same time, because as you can see, PP Whitebeard replaced him, and that was the worst case scenario, because Shank's crew special was not max. Now we killed Kizaru. Their Odin is quite low on HP, so he will probably be dying, but now we only have 2 units, so we are attacking quite less. And yes, as you can see, we lost this match, but I think it's good to represent the amount of defensive wins that you would be getting with this team if a slasher team attacks you. I think that that's a good representation. As I mentioned, if in all of 3 teams PP Whitebeard would have been there, probably the second one I would have lost it to, but the first one I don't think it would have mattered. I would have won anyway. So, but that's also a representation of not everyone that has at the same time Roger and Odin will have also PP Whitebeard, because that's a lot of gems to have had to spend in a few amount of time, and a lot of people maybe are using other units, like for example that guy was using a Zoro, which was a slasher, so was good because was getting all the buffs. Maybe someone is using an Otama, which is a nice option, but I don't think in the second team I don't think any other unit apart from PP Whitebeard would have mattered that much, because for example an Otama has really low defense. I think she would have died anyway, but well, you never know. So I think, and if you want to count it in not being optimistical about it, at least a 60% win rate this team I think has against slasher teams, remember. So the only question is how beatable does this team look for a slasher team? I think it's quite good. And I mean, the thing is that a slasher team can definitely win against this team, and mostly if they are using PP Whitebeard. So it's not like a counter to the slasher team. It's just like a way that I recommend. I not using the same team, but I recommend like thinking of some weird teams with some weird units and testing it as an attacking team against the team that you want to kind of counter as a defense, and just test it if it works, and see what percent of win rate does it have, because as I explained, I'm using this team, which I said the win rate that I think it has, and I was also using, let's see if I can find it. I think I erased it. Yes. Well, I was also using a different defense team with also weird units, but it was not getting as many wins, like maybe 50% win rate, a little bit less. So it's just a matter of testing, and I know to test a lot you have to spend a little bit of gems, but if you're, for example, in championship and you're spending gems anyway, then every win that you get, it's more points, and I think it's good. Like I'm testing in blocks, and spending gems in blocks is quite useless. So but well, it's just for in order to learn more about the game mode and stuff. So, but I think this video is already too long, so without further ado, I'm gonna end this video here. I will put a couple of clips of some more matches with this team, so that you can see how it worked, and some matches in which I lost. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment sections down below what you think about defense teams, and if you have any idea of some defense team that might work, I can help you with the teams that you think are gonna be working, and let me know what units do you think are the most interesting, like the weird units that you guess that nobody knows about and that they are really interesting. So, but without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.